If you've got some of these, then I've got ideas. 10 projects for turning envelopes into beautiful things. And in addition, in this bumper masterclass, I have 4 other free things to help you get creative. First of all, I have a guide listing all of the 10 projects, and I've put some useful columns in this guide to really help you find the project that works for you. So I have listed the key features of each of the projects alongside a mini thumbnail and a description of the type of project. I've also included a column to suggest who this might be suitable for, and I've listed the date of the video and its length in minutes so that you can accommodate your time in the best way possible. I also have for you all of the process steps, so 10 sets of process steps for these 10 projects, and they're all in one place, and you can get the guide and the process steps for free in my Ko-fi shop. The link to my Ko-fi shop is in the description box down below. Thirdly, I have put together a playlist for you of all of the tutorials of these 10 projects. That's linked down below, and this video has timestamps. So you can look in the description box below to see timestamps for each of these 10 projects, which I will briefly describe and share with you today. So the first project is an envelope journal, and this uses 3 envelopes to make it. So we have 2 of those tall ones, one here, and the third one is a smaller one. This has got 3 pockets, so there's a pocket on the outside here, there's a pocket at the top, and this is also made into a pocket. And I've also added an extra pocket down here, so it's got space for adding some extra goodies. It's got some very nice papers on the back, so you could collage and add whatever you want. And you can see that I have also included some lining here in the form of Amazon packaging paper. This is a little notepad, so you can add whatever you want on the inside. If you wanted, you could add some extra pages and some places to write. So this is project number 1 using 3 envelopes, and I think it's an absolutely great way to get started in using up a whole pack, a whole stack if you've got as many as me. Idea number 2 is a stunning double pocket made from a large torn envelope. So each of these, you can see there's a ton of collage on them, and you can just have an absolute ball covering these and decorating them. This one has clearly been collaged with an eclectic mix, and we've got a little space for tucking things here. We've got another pocket on the left here. I've kept the window, and you can see some lovely elements behind, so I'll show you how to do that, how to decorate behind the window. It's got a flap at the top. There's a little bit of extra capacity with where we folded, and as you fold this down, you can fold the right hand side in, fold that down, and there's effectively a closure. I've just used string here, and that goes around this little circle that's been attached with a brad. So you can add quite a few elements to this, fill it, and it just looks absolutely stunning. It's one of those projects where you can just get lost in yourself as you're creating. I absolutely love this one, and I'm going to make some more. Idea number 3 is a large collage pocket. And I was clearly on a roll with my eclectic decoration and using up these envelopes. These are made from a single envelope. They're really sturdy. I love the thickness and the weight of them. And I've mixed in papers on the front. I've got some lovely papers on the back. I've got a little bit of washi tape at the top here. Again, I've made the flap here more sturdy. I've got a bit of scrapbook paper here and book page, so that's been introduced. And I've gone behind the window on each of these. So each of these has got different papers on it. And I also had a play with mark making on these. So I've got my pencils out. I've got some nice dots on this one, and I've got lines on this. So you can just get creative and have a play differently on each of them. They have a closure again, so they go behind a circle again that I've actually used a little bit of It's the back of a thick magazine, and I've put some gold paint on it just to make it look a little bit blingy. I really like that with a gold brad. And I've used the same method with a large envelope here. Think what you could put inside one of these. It just looks stunning. The video is about 30 minutes. So the video is 29 minutes and 7 seconds, so under 30 minutes to tell you how to make all of these. The next idea is this tall junk journal. And as you can see, it's very colourful, so you can use whatever papers, scraps and book pages you like to decorate it. It's got a closure on the front. It actually has multiple pages in it, and you can configure those in any way you like. So you could adapt this and add more if you wanted to. So we've got a number of pockets on here. We've got a pocket in the front, and that's got quite a lot of capacity. We've got pockets in the pages because they're made from the envelopes. I've got a pocket using the back of an envelope here, and on the back I've also got capacity here. So there's loads of spaces for you to tuck things and put things, and it feels sturdy and weighty, so it feels like a beautiful object, a beautiful project when you're finished. I've just used string here on a closure. You could use ribbon, again, that would make it, elevate it, really make it look stunning. I think I really enjoyed using up lots of pieces of scrap, book page, images, maps, anything on this. Just made it feel really beautiful and mixed it up. The next idea is another collaged envelope, effectively a pocket, but the difference with this one is that I've added a bit more texture and interest. So on each of them you can see that they've got a bit of snippet that I've made, so you can feel the texture of the sewing here, of the stitches, and it runs over into the window, and behind the window I've used fabric. So if you like fabric, you've got a little bit of fabric with a nice pattern and you fancy introducing that into a project, this is a really great one to do. The design is quite similar to one of the others, but I'm just varying it a little bit to use up some of my supplies. The lid tucks in very well. I've not put a piece of string around it. I've just created one that tucks neatly. And I think from memory, I remember making sure that the positioning of this was really good so that we didn't cover up too much of the window, but it tucks behind neatly. And once you get going on them, you can churn out quite a few. So it's a great way of working through your pile of used envelopes. Don't they look absolutely stunning? Here I've used book page, and I've got some Amazon packing paper as well, so you don't have to use printables or washi tape on all of these. The next idea is, well, it's probably my favourite, and I hold it dear to heart because it was the first project and video I did after I'd been off not so well for a couple of years. So this one is, I called it my best junk journal, and it uses a large used envelope, so a torn one. And I opened it up, and that means we've got this kind of size of cover, which I covered with collage with lots of different pieces, and you can use anything you like. Really put your style into these and your personality and make it yours. So the outside is covered. I've also put an element behind the window, behind the acetate, and that came from a book each time, so not from a printable, and I've sewn around it. This is a project where if you sew, I think it will be better, but you don't have to sew. If you use strong glue, you can also make that work as well. I lined the inside. This is slightly glossy book page, so again I'm using book page, and on each of them I've added a very simple pocket on the back, on the inside. Sometimes I added one on the cover as well too. It depends what was on here, but I've filled it with my kind of style of junk journal pages. You can add whatever you like. I need to make some more, but these would be incredibly good at a craft fair. I've got a snippet here, you can tuck things inside. I've got all sorts of pockets that I've made with things put in them. I just had an absolute ball making this. I was just enjoying making journals again. I absolutely love it, as you can probably tell. So this is my best junk journal, and it will use up, sadly, only one of your massive pile of used envelopes, but you will make something absolutely stunning, and I think you'll love all of them. They'll all be different, as are these. Let me know if you make one. The next idea I want to share with you for using your envelopes is a pocket journal. This uses one large used, can even be torn envelope, and I've folded it in a different way so that we get a pocket here and another pocket at the back. So I've filled them with elements like there's a card there, you can put your tags in it, and because some of them are window envelopes, you can see on the back here you can see inside and through the window, so it just makes it really interesting and lovely, something delightful. If you want to, you can also put a pocket on the front as I did on this one. So I've also got a pocket here as well as the one behind, and they feel chubby and lovely, get that the right way, and again they're a great opportunity for using up your scraps and using up your scrapbook papers and just getting immersed in it and having fun. They feel chubby and just beautiful. Inside you can add more of your own personality. I've included, well, first of all, I've included lining on this. I've added an extra pocket on the front, so I've just got a tag and space to write here, and then I've included lots of different elements, lots of different eclectic pages. I like the mixture. Just break it all up with any little pieces. I've got book page there, I've got a space to write. I think in the middle of this one I've got a pull down page. I really like this picture. This is a Tracy Fox, so I put that in there. And I think because it's got capacity, I've even included elements with dangles, a little bead on that. This again was really absorbing, and I felt like I was able to make more of them. So another good craft fair idea, along with the best junk journal that I mentioned previously. And as you can see, none of them are the same. On this one, I've added a closure underneath the front pocket in the form of a stunning ribbon, which I think really elevates it. This one hasn't got any pocket on the front, but I've done a different style of closure. So this works really well. The closure is a couple of eyelets on the back and on the front, and I've passed a ribbon through that goes with the colour theme on the front here. That really makes it look fantastic. Again, you can see through the window. On this one, no pocket, just a nice image. And I've used faux stitching, so I haven't stitched around this picture. They all look great, they all look different. Lovely, lovely chubbiness and a thing to handle. So this one's got a bead as well. So that is a pocket journal. Project number 8 is a medium-sized junk journal or art journal or journal from one large used envelope. And on this occasion, what I've done is I've put art on the cover. So in the tutorial, I'll show you how to create a little piece of art in any set of colours that you like. And I've also, on some of them, added a little bit of texture in the form of beads. So I'll also show you in the tutorial how to do that if you want to. You don't have to, of course. I've used my pen and done a little bit of mark making, and I've used, I think, a mixture of watercolour paints, a white gel pen, a black pen. There's some silver here that I've dotted. Use whatever you've got just to make a really impactful cover. So the envelope's folded over and covered with whatever papers you have. I've added the image, the arty image, onto a coloured frame. So this is colour coded so that it goes and augments whatever the pattern is that you've created. And then inside I have just added some lining, so I've crayoned on some book page, and then I've added whatever papers I want. It would be a great one just to have as a notebook, and again I think a great craft fair idea. So you could either add plain papers, or you can add any form of junk journal papers that you have, any printables, any scrap paper, whatever works for you. They're quick to do, as you can see. I've made quite a lot, and I've also got some spare little pieces of artwork here ready to make up some more, which I think I will do after this video. Idea number 9 is I think quite refreshing because it's a journal in a different shape, and the bulk of the work on each of these is done by the image from a book page. So in the main, these don't use printables. It's, as you can see, using a tall, thin, used envelope. And I think in the video I give you suggestions and perhaps even the ISBN number of the book that you can use that has hundreds of these sorts of images in them, and they're absolutely stunning. In fact, I think there's a series of them, of some are animals, some are birds, some are flowers, and they're absolutely amazing. And in the tutorial I show you how to pull together one of these in a way that has really simple and quick but complementary elements of collage and a lining with a lining that doesn't pucker or buckle. Obviously what you can do with these journal covers is just add whatever papers you like. I've sewn around them. I think that helps. You could just use strong glue, but it was really great fun making use of fantastic images from the book, fill them with notebook paper and use them as a gift at Christmas. Idea number 10 is again using a large envelope, a used one, and it's folded over, but I have added a sumptuous piece of fabric. Now I had this, any piece of fabric would do, but the thicker the better. And what I've done is made the fabric and the pattern really sing by using it on the outside and adding a complementary focal point using patchwork stitching. So I'll show you exactly how to do this in the tutorial. I have added in each of these a signature. They're lined again, and you can add whatever you like. I've got a little paper bag here. I think these are incredibly cute. You can add pockets and add tags, journaling spots, places to write. Just get lost in making these. Yeah, I like the idea of having plenty of place to write in this one, but also some stunning focal points, just something of interest. The fabric on the outside wasn't big enough, so I've accommodated that by adding a little bit of colour around the outside here to go with the image, just like I did with those art journals. And I've used the fabric to get another pocket on the back. You can add any sorts of images, have a bit of fun. I've got the word journal on this one, and I've also added just a little bit of gold dust on the image. I thought that worked well. So on each of these, once you get going, you can ring the changes and just make them really beautiful. I like the idea of having colours other than just the brown vintage colours. You don't have to put fabric all the way around like I did on this. If you've only got a small piece, you can sew maybe an image on the front of that, and that way you can also still have a pocket on the front. But I just think they look beautiful, and I think these would be great as a present. I think some of my friends might be getting one this year. I hope these 10 ideas have been useful for you and that you're now feeling super inspired. I have over 200 tutorials on my channel, so if you're not subscribed already, I would love it if you could hit that subscribe button down below. Go and get your envelopes out, have a play, and let me know what you make. I hope to see you soon.